Point out to me that I'm saying 56 years for the moon landing. I'm saying it because I'm speaking ahead of myself. It'll be 56 years when Artemis 3 goes into space, which is going to be in 2025, putting us at 56 years. Well, since 1972 is the last time we were on the moon, according to history. There are many other people who say we've gone to the moon more times than that. There are other people who say we've never gone at all. Some people say space is fake. I don't go that far. I mean, my whole thing is based in, my whole doubt is based in how politics, budgets, and Cold War antics are why I have my doubts about everything that the record has said about the moon. It has nothing to do with science. Scientists can debunk it all they want, but history and political stuff remind me just how incompetent things are, and just how, you know, how good does it feel if you're an astronaut to be on a rocket that has basically been built by the lowest bidder? You know, I think Gus Grissom said that. I think before Grissom died, he said that. Before he died on the launch pad. It's true. And yet, you know, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, James Webb Telescope, that was the coolest thing ever. And then what happens? Some French dude sends out a picture of a sliced chorizo and says, hey, that's a star, which completely floors everybody, especially those who don't believe that space exists, who don't believe that we hadn't gone any farther than you know, the blue sky, that the earth is flat. You know, these are things that, you know, everybody who has their doubts about the moon, they get thrown into that same pile. I don't like being thrown in that pile because I have political and historical reasons why I have my doubts about the moon landing. I have my doubts about the historical record of the moon landing. Hell, we could have landed on the moon in 1969, but the historical record is not correct. Artemis, I think, is going to be a total disaster because they're always moving the lines, and no one wants to foot the bill for this thing. And I think that we've always seen, from Obama now to Biden, a disinterest in space. And I think a lot of people have a disinterest in space, and they're going to express that disinterest. Let's go to Dave in Arizona. Hey, Dave, you're on Ground Zero.
Hey, Clyde. Yeah, I think Steve Buscemi said that same thing in Armageddon. You're sitting on a, you know, whatever giant rocket with a nuclear bomb attached to it, built by the guy that came in with the lowest price.
That's exactly right.
It's freaking hilarious. You know, it never occurred to me, I think probably until I saw Capricorn 1, that we didn't go to the moon, or that the whole thing was faked. I think that we did. And that being said, I don't understand the need to go there again, particularly now with everything else that's going on.
Well, when Donald Trump said we need to go and put the American flag back on the moon, and my biggest argument was, I thought, what kind of jingoistic nonsense is this? I'm sure Trump wanted to say it for his supporters because he's got this nationalistic idea that he's the savior. But let me just tell you this: we don't need to put a flag on the moon. We don't need to do any of that. We need to get serious. If we want to become a planet that can send men out into space and do it without a problem, great. But we're not even near that. We're, like I said, 50 some odd years later, and we're already fidgeting and having problems with rockets on the launch pad. I know that Musk has been successful with his rockets. Bezos has been successful. But 68 miles into the sky is space? Yeah, I guess you can say it is. But that's all he does, is he sends people 68 miles into the stratosphere, above the stratosphere, and it gets dark, and then immediately you plunge down to Earth again. I don't want to discredit. What's that?
I said, or you're like Jeff Bezos, who launches people into that 68 mile above space in a giant phallic-shaped rocket, and then you parachute back down to safety again.
Right. It's not that I'm saying that that's a bad thing. In fact, I remember when Elon Musk shot a Tesla into space. I thought it was the coolest thing I ever saw. But then I had a lot of people tell me it was fake. Oh, that's so fake. They did it in a studio somewhere. I'm going, what would be the intent of faking a Tesla going through space? I just don't understand that. But again, you look at the
advertising gimmick.
Yeah, it's a great advertising gimmick. I don't think Tesla. I don't think Musk would. I think Musk wouldn't pass up an opportunity to waste money to do a gimmick like that.
A self-driving car in outer space. But, you know, I mean, like, I can understand the desire of a nation to want to unify their people and, you know, have a badge of honor by going into space, and that's fine. But this isn't the time.
No,
how's it going to? We need to get control of.
2025 is we're going to land man on the moon again, according to what I was reading. Artemis 3 is going to land man on the moon in 2025. So things may change by 2025. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think, we talked about before about the Deagle report that says 100 million people, the U.S. population will be 100 million people by 2025.
Yeah.
So who's going to launch the rocket? I mean, there's too many other things that are going on right now for us to be focusing on that.
I think our Chinese overlords will take over and basically launch the damn. They're already more advanced now.
Or the serpent overlords.
Exactly.
The lizard overlords.
Hey, I got to get to some other calls, Dave, but I'll
sure thing, Clyde.
Noted that no one cares. Thank you. I feel the same way. I think that Monday the launch will go up, and it really won't even cause a stir. Let's go to Jim in Ohio. Hey, Jim, you're on Ground Zero.
Hey, Clyde, I love talking about the space program and rockets, so I'm kind of miffed that you said nobody wants to talk about it. So I'll talk a little bit about it.
I think people want to talk about it, but I think when it happens, I don't think anybody's going to bust a vein over it.
So 2 quick points, Clyde, because I know you're pressed for time here. 2 quick points. Yuri Gagarin, total hero. People can call me a commie if they want, but they strapped that guy on top of an ICBM in basically an aluminum can.
Yeah.
They didn't think he was going to come back alive, and he did a hard landing in Kazakhstan. I can't believe they took his name off the record books over there. The guy was a hero.
Well, no, they took his. They had a dinner, and they wanted to honor the space travel. They had this dinner, and they completely ignored Yuri Gagarin because of what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. Completely.
Yeah, because if you've seen The Right Stuff, it was the epitome of what they said. Spam in a can, because they didn't think he was going to live.
No, and a lot of astronauts have died. Yeah,
they thought radiation would kill him.
Yep.
So that was a quick point. And the second point is, I'm a little bit surprised you think that Artemis might have some hitches, because they've been working on this for a while, and they're sharing data with Musk, and Musk has crashed how many rockets? How many rockets?
How many how many have exploded on his watch?
But he's learning from each one he crashes, though. That's
right,
the thing.
but the thing, it basically rattles apart when it's moving to the launch pad. I mean, how many times? 4 times this thing has had to go back for repairs, and it hasn't even made it to the launch pad. Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah, well, yeah.
4
it's a big
times.
freaking rocket.
Well, I mean,
it's a big rocket.
But don't you find it a little embarrassing that we went to the moon, allegedly, in 1969, and yet we're still at square one with Artemis? It just bothers me. And then the fact. What? Go ahead.
The intangible that they had back in '69 was those 3 guys died on the pad in January '67.
You're right.
And they had Kennedy's goal they were also working towards. So that was a huge impetus for them to make that mission successful. Huge.
But we did all of those moon landings without a hitch, without astronauts dying, and yet we take the bus out in space called the space shuttle, and we kill 14 astronauts with that space shuttle. 14.
You just said it. You said it before. Cheap tiles.
Yeah, and O-rings, too. O-rings, right?
Yeah.
It's the O-rings, Jim. I love you, man. Thanks for the great call.
All
I
right,
appreciate
bye-bye.
it. Take care. Jim really stated his point very well. I like discussions about this. I'm not a hard-nosed dink when it comes to moon. I like talking about it because it's just, I have a lot of questions, and you have people like Jim who know and has a belief, and he doesn't get all worked up and rude about it. That's what I love. And if you can do that tonight, we'll have a great discussion, especially when I have my doubts about Artemis. It's going to happen, though. Monday, get ready. We're going to launch into space. We're going to have a rocket orbit the moon. It's like 1957 all over again.